So this is the beginning of a chi-square test. So what we're doing is we list the offspring and the phenotype. The whole point of this is to end up finding the critical value in order to either prove or disprove your null hypothesis. So in order to find that value, first you list all the possible phenotypes that's you obtained from the cross. So here we're doing adult fruit flies. So we have gray body with long or short wings, and we also have an ebony body with long or short wings. The observed values are listed here, and in order to get the expected value, we have to find the ratios of all these phenotypes. Now it was already given to us that the ratio is 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. And what that signifies is that because it's a dihybrid cross, the 1 to 1 to 1 ratio will end up being 4 out of 16 for all the phenotypes. So what you do is you multiply the total. In this cross, the total was 64. So let's put t equals 64. You multiply the total with the ratio to get your expected results. And what we expect in all of them is 16. Once you have your expected results, what you do is you subtract the observed minus the expected. And in this case, it's okay to have negative numbers. This is why when you square it, those negatives will disappear. So we have -1, 3, -3, and 1. Once you square it, after you square it, you divide this by the expected. So it will be 1 divided by 16, 9 divided by 16, 9 divided by 16, and 1 divided by 16. So our values will be 0.0625, 0.5625, 0.5625, and 0.0625. Once we have once we've figured out this formula here, once we have our values, we add all of these to get our critical value, our chi-square value, which would end up being 1.25. So this is what we have. Our null hypothesis, or what we expect, is that there's no significant difference between the observed and expected values. Once we have this, we go to a chart that lists all the critical values. But before we actually find out the critical values, we have to figure out the degrees of freedom. So we have 4 possible options. In order to find the degrees of freedom, you subtract the possible options minus 1. So in this case, 4 minus 1 is 3. We go to the table, to the degrees of freedom table. We go to 3. We go to the probability of 0.05. Degrees of freedom, we go to 3. We go to 0.05. This is what is used in biological investigations, and we find out that the critical value is 7.82. So let's write that down. The critical value is 7.82, while our chi-square value is 1.25. In this study, or in this investigation, our chi-square value was less than the critical value. And what this signifies is that there is no significant difference between the observed and expected values in cross 3.